I'm doing from calf to plate.
I got fescue in here. That's orchard grass.
For one, look for some high quality genetics. I want these girls to be growing the best they possibly can. My wife and I had to come up with a good business plan. So they've been on that section for a day, and now they're gonna come over to this section. If you think about the bison and the buffalo, they were just grazing the whole time.
It's such a blessing.
I know, dude. It's crazy,
like
dude.
It's crazy.
Sometimes doing what you're doing, getting out here on the field, but if I'm keeping them away from the manure,
Yeah.
then I'm having less fly pressure. 5 to 6 round bales per cow per winter. The beef prices are going up because of our packers. A cold animal, the way I operate, I could turn her into roasts and into ground beef. Is this gonna be too loud?
No, we got the mic.
Oh. Any recommendation I would make to somebody who's getting into farming, the commercial bull is gonna be a lot less expensive. When you start to get too many irons in the fire, you start to lose track of everything.
Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a blessed day. For today's video, we are here with Mr. John Kynes, a beef cattle coordinator, producer, and agribusiness owner who has a strong reputation both on the farm and inside the classroom. In this conversation, we'll dive into how John got started in agriculture, what led him into the beef cattle business, and the realities of managing a full-scale operation, from daily work and herd health to cost, pasture management, long-term sustainability, marketing, breeding, and calving, and the mindset it takes to turn farming into a real business.
All right, so 3-part question. To be honest with you, I was not even planning on going into agriculture. My wife and I went on a mission trip to Lesotho, Africa. You know where that's at?
So
It's this like little country inside of South Africa.
Okay.
It honestly looks like a lake inside of
And
South
this was
Africa.
with the church.
Yeah, we went with the church. And when we got there, we were doing the missionary work that we had kind of set out to do, but then I started to see like this need for agricultural development if you will. And when that started to occur, then my mind kind of shifted from sports medicine, which is what I was in school for.
Okay, so this was when you were in college in your
Yeah,
20s.
when I was in college. And I saw this need for agricultural development in this country. And I thought maybe I should just switch up and do that. So yeah, I think that'll be fine for now. But anyways, sports medicine was the field I was going into, and I wanted to continue doing missionary work through sports medicine. But I quickly realized, like, as important as that was, what was more important was the needs of people in agriculture. And so came back from Lesotho, left UNCG, came to North Carolina A&T, and that's kind of where it started to progress.
And do you major in agriculture?
Yeah, I majored in what's called agriculture education. So kind of the idea of learning all the skills to be able to hopefully teach those skills.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of like the initial start. Down the field of agriculture at the university, I started to realize that like I wanted to work out at the university farm, but I also wanted to have my own business as well. So my wife and I started kind of figuring out what that might look like. I'm gonna close this behind us. Where we live, there was this this church that had a bunch of land and they weren't doing anything with it. So I went and like talked to the pastor of the church and basically was like, hey, my wife and I want to have a little garden. Would that be something you'd be okay with us doing, you know?
That's awesome.
I only want like a ½ acre to be able to do this garden. And he was like, yeah, sure. So I was like, all right, cool. So we started doing a little garden, selling some produce and stuff. And this was at the beginning of the coronavirus.
And I'm glad you told me, because I was going to ask what got you into beef. But
yeah, I'm going to get there.
Okay.
But this was at the beginning of the coronavirus. So the neighborhood I live in is really interesting. It's full of a bunch of like older people, and they weren't trying to get out into the community. They didn't necessarily want to go out into the public and maybe get this coronavirus thing that was like new and up and coming or whatever. So what we did was my wife and my kids and I started to meet at the front of our neighborhood and selling produce for like super cheap, because we needed to make sure that we were, you know, making a little bit for the hard work we were putting in, but we also wanted to help out people and give them a quality product. for just kind of minimal cost. So that was kind of like the start of our business.
Mhm.
But then about a year and a half passed after that, and I came to the pastor of the church who had this land, and I was like, hey, think about getting animals. Like, would you be okay with us fencing in
Yeah.
this acreage underneath the power line? He was like, yeah, that sounds cool. Like, how much you wanting to put in? I said, well, I'd like to do like 10 acres. So he was like, yeah, sure, why not?
Oh,
So
man.
my wife and I,
This is such a blessing.
I know,
I
dude,
didn't know the
it's
story was gonna be
crazy,
like
dude.
this.
It's crazy. So my wife and I went and bought all these materials.
It's like divine setup.
Dude,
you know?
it's gnarly. We went and bought all these materials
Mhm.
and started to fence in this property. Well, we fenced in 10 acres.
And do you start with?
Yeah,
cattle?
so we started with
goats?
goats. We
Okay.
started with goats to kind of help clear that land. And what I'm doing right now is I'm setting up a new paddock for my animals over here at A&T.
We're gonna get into
So
that.
I run the beef cattle herd over here,
Mhm.
and we'll get into all that as we progress. But basically, Zion, what I was trying to do was start to regenerate this land underneath the power lines.
Mhm.
I started with goats. We had about 65 or 70 head of goats.
Oh,
And we ended up buying 2 like steers.
okay.
Steer being a bull that then got castrated and had no more reproductive parts. So steers are like your good meat that's going to be like a steak or a high quality roast or whatever.
And so goats and 2 steers, 60 goats and 2 steers.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
go ahead.
looking back, what made you realize this wasn't just like a hobby, but it turned into a real business? Because I know you was kind of gonna dive into that.
Yeah. So, well, I guess at first it kind of was a hobby
Mhm.
because it was like,
For the community.
yeah, it's for the
and
community.
kids was
But then like
involved.
when you start to put in a bunch of effort, you quickly realize like this can't just be a hobby because I'm putting in a lot of work.
Mhm.
My family is putting in a lot of work. My wife and I and my kids were even helping.
And they were younger.
Yeah, yeah, they were younger at that point. My daughter would have been 8, my son would have been 6. But you know, when you start to do a job and it's still something you heavily enjoy, like a hobby you can really enjoy, but when you're like putting in a lot of physical labor and you're putting a lot of time and everything, there's a point where it becomes a job and you realize, oh, this can actually become profitable and not just like, oh, I'm just out here having fun. Now, granted, when I'm on the farm, I'm having a blast. I'm having a day of my life, you know, every day. But it is a job, and at the end of the day, when you run a business, you got to make a profit. So,
Definitely. So,
Yeah.
what was the biggest challenge you faced early on, and how do you push through? And like, kind of tell me about how do you get to your land that you have now from the church, or do you still own the
yeah,
church?
I still got that acreage.
Okay.
So, man, it's crazy. So the biggest challenge with the business was like, how do I scale the business and make it a profitable
Mhm.
thing?
Without feeling overwhelmed.
Exactly. How do I scale? How do I make this profitable? And, you know, if you know much about agriculture, the profit margins are already like fairly thin.
Yes.
So I started to get creative, and to not get discouraged, I had to come up with like different creative ways to make money, to make the farm more profitable. And because that was part of what you asked, like, was there like a discouraging time?
Yeah, like your biggest challenge you face, and how do you
Biggest
push
challenge.
through it? Because I know a lot of people, right when they get to that mark, it's like you either fall back and sell this,
Uh-huh.
or you push through and you get over that break even.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
exact. You got to get to the black eventually, and pushing through, not getting discouraged. Takes a lot of effort. My wife and I had to come up with a good business plan that allowed for us to see, like, okay, if we put in this much effort and this much time,
Gotta have a plan.
yeah, that's where you're going to be able to push through and be able to see the
Sticking
other
to the
side
plan.
of it. So yeah, I think
Okay.
that kind of hopefully that kind of answers that
it
question.
does. So how do you come up with your operations name and logo, or what is the name of you guys?
So my last name,
Kimes.
Kimes. So our farm is called Kimes Family Farm. There's actually, and that fence is hot right there too. So don't
It's
touch
hot,
it.
guys.
There's actually a ranch called Kimes Ranch. I think that's what it's called. they sell like Western clothing wear.
Okay.
So I didn't think I wanted to be ranch either, because not only did we do livestock, but we also did vegetables.
Okay.
So we came up with Kimes Family Farm because we're a family business. Like, our goal is to be able to work as a family and be able to hopefully pass it down to where my kids can have access to it when they get older, if they want to have, if that's what they want to do or whatever.
Yeah,
or like in high school,
like forcing them and anything.
Yeah, I'm not forcing them to do it. It's just something that, again,
that we have as a family.
Yep,
like,
exactly. So, but Kimes Family Farm, our brand is this right here.
So this is the logo.
That's the brand.
That's
like
the brand.
if you were like the brand.
So you got gear.
Yeah, we got merch. So, that's all like the brand. If you were to brand an animal, that's what you would do.
Okay, so we're about to dive into business and operations and daily work and management. What does a typical day look like on your farm? And how do your day-to-day operations change through the season between breeding, calving, and feeding?
Okay, that's a good question. So, what I'm doing right now is one thing I actually do on my own farm as well, rotationally grazing animals. So this is my herd here at A&T, and we'll get over to the farm and let you see that here, because man, what's crazy is my farm is only like 5 minutes from here.
Okay.
Which is also really convenient because I can go home at my lunch break from the work and go do my chores that need to happen at my own personal farm.
This is part of your day-to-day.
This is part of my day-to-day. So I'll set up polywire. I'll move my cows to fresh grass because they got to have fresh grass. They like to eat good, just like we like to eat good. Some other stuff I'll do when I'm at the farm. If it's breeding season, I may be checking on my bull to make sure he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. If I have a group of cows that I'm going to be artificially inseminating, basically, you know, giving them the semen that I want to get the ideal calf that I want. I may be synchronizing those cows. I check their water every day. I mean, like your general animal husbandry practices.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be a good steward of the animal first before you can make money off of them, because they're the ones that are doing the hard work.
Okay, so look, how do you structure your operation based on everything you told us? Do you focus more on cow-calf, backgrounding, or finishing?
So
explain to the people as well the difference between cow-calf, backgrounding, and finishing.
So we're different. We are a what you would consider a direct-to-consumer beef operation.
Okay.
So I am raising cows that are raising calves, and then those calves I'm growing out to make beef. So I'm doing from calf to plate. What I'm doing is essentially raising a cow-calf operation, and then of the calves that are like the premium choice, those are the ones I keep back to raise for beef.
And then they're gonna have
the remainder of the calves I'll sell to the stockyard that somebody can purchase to be like a feeder operation or a finisher operation.
On my research, I've been hearing this about the stockyard and buying cattle off farmers. It's kind of like, this is what people are saying, like you're getting their second best. Like, you know, is that
Yes, that is very true. Now, if you're going to like a cattle sale, like the Yawns have one in South Carolina, they're selling premium heifers or premium bulls to be able to improve genetics on herds. Now, if I'm going to the stockyard and I just want to get the best I can, then I'm taking my second best. But if I know I got a girl or a bull who's going to be like, oh, top tier, somebody's going to pay good money for it, I'm going to make more at a sale like that than I would at the stockyard.
Okay, because we're going to get into that, so I didn't want to get into it too early.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, because we're in business and operations. So what's your approach to herd health and record keeping? Do you have some cattle registered? Because this morning we was doing hooks. So what's your approach, again, to herd health, record keeping, and do you have some registered animals?
So herd health is extremely important. I want these girls to be growing the best they possibly can and having the best possible calf they can, because in the grand scheme of things, if I don't have a healthy herd, then I'm not going to have a healthy profit. So I keep records on the computer system I use this program called Cattle Max. But Cattle Max is a program that basically lets me keep all my records. I know who the mama was, who the daddy was.
Like an Excel sheet for your cattle.
Excel sheet for my cattle. So you can use Excel or you can pay this program. It's a couple $100 a year, but it keeps track of everything.
Yeah, and it's probably made for cattle, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and then you can break down so much more with it. But basically, I keep up with the herd health that way, keep up with my genetics that way, and then trying to remember what you said.
Registered animals.
Oh, registered animals. I'm not into registered animals because I'm looking for beef. So I might buy registered animal semen to be able to breed my cows to make a really good calf.
Yes.
But in the grand scheme of things, I'm not selling replacement animals, so I don't need registered animals.
So people on the commercial scale usually don't have, or trying to get to that commercial scale, don't have a lot of registered animals.
Not necessarily. If you're wanting to sell registered animals because you're going to get a premium for that heifer or a premium for that bull, then you have to have registered animals. But for me and my operation, every operation is different, right? My operation is I'm trying to raise quality beef, not necessarily quality replacement animals.
Okay. And
because
that's
remember,
as well.
Yeah, registered animals are, you know, they're going to be more costly. The bull's going to be more costly. I'll be honest with you, if I had a registered bull and a commercial bull, that commercial bull is going to be a lot less expensive than that registered bull. And what happens if the registered bull dies? You know,
You lost some money.
You lost a lot more than if the commercial bull died.
So how often do you switch out bulls or add new genetics to the herd?
We switch ours up about every 3 years. There is kind of different things you can look at as far as crossing your animals. But I usually don't keep back any of my replacement heifers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
From those bulls. I'll sell those. If I'm about to get a new bull, I may keep the heifers off of him so that the new bull could breed them.
Okay.
So what I'm doing now, this white wire here is electrified. This is herd health. I'm giving them fresh grass. I'm making sure they have all their adequate nutrition. But this wire right here is electrified. And with this wire being electrified, they won't come into this fresh grass here. So they've been on that section for a day, and now they're going to come over to this section. So we'll move them real quick just so you can see how that works on the camera.
That thing's hot, guys.
Yeah, it's about 7,000 volts. But basically all I'm going to do is pull this wire down, kind of give them a little space, and they're going to come right in here to this fresh, delicious grass.
Okay.
And watch them go. Meow. There they go. Meow.
Okay.
Get into it, big mamas.
Look at them. Check them out.
Get into it, baby girls.
So look, do your cows tend to calve around the same time each year, or is it like spread it out?
Here, I like my animals to be born in kind of A&T, I should say, in like the middle of January, because here I'm all focused on the students. I want the students to have as many opportunities for labs as possible.
And that's the top of the semester.
And I want to be able to have my castration lab in the spring. So when those bulls are like 3 months old, I want to castrate them. Maybe even a little younger than that, maybe 2 months old. Now, at my own personal farm, I want them born in the like mid-September, October range, because I don't want them born in that super cold weather. It's less that I have to deal with.
Okay.
But I do like them to be born at the same time every year because...
Look at the back of that jacket.
Because you think about it, that mama right there has a baby in her.
Yep.
If she comes up open, okay, she comes up not pregnant, she's not making me any money. What I want to make sure I'm doing is having my calves ready at the market when I want them ready, or if I'm raising up beef, I want to make sure they are born and can grow as quickly as possible so that I can get my beef on the table as soon as possible.
So would that be considered like a cull? Like if
she came up open, I would cull her, which is not a bad thing because a culled animal, the way I operate, I could turn her into roasts and into ground beef.
So look, this is my research. So you're essentially, when you get some cattle, you're not really losing money unless it gets sick and dies, or like escapes or something gets lost.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, cattle are an investment. And right now, they're one of the toughest investments to get into because our market is so high right now. But I tell people all the time, look out in my field, not here because these aren't my cows, these are A&T cows. But when you go to my farm and I say, look out in my field, you're gonna see all these cows, these mama cows and their calves. That's assets. I mean, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of animals out there, because I could go and sell everything right now
and be straight
and be fine, because that's just the way the cattle industry works. Now, if I was growing vegetables or something like that, there's only so much I can do with the vegetables. They're only ready when they're ready. You can't really hold them over. But these cows, they're an extremely valuable asset that I can utilize for, you know, if I'm in a pinch and I need fertilizer or I need to go buy hay or whatever.
So I'm hitting
I can sell an animal,
go all the way good,
go get some money for what I need, and then I can slowly build her back up. Now that can be a slippery slope, because when you make $2,000 on an animal or $2,500, like, I could sell 2 more, or I could sell 3 more. And then you're like, oh crap, I've got rid of all my replacement animals that I need to make the money, right?
Yes, definitely.
Because if you ain't got a cow, you ain't getting a calf.
So what's your process when choosing, because you kind of answered the previous question, what's your strategy in managing calves, keeping them in the herd or selling them early? I'm gonna let you answer that.
Yeah, so you kind of, when you start doing this more regularly, when you start doing your animals more regularly, you start to see what works and what doesn't work. You start to realize early also which cow is going to grow better, or which calf is going to grow better, which one I should go ahead and wean off or whatever. Now, I do like to try and wean all my animals at the same time, basically take them off their mama. But you know early on which ones are going to be your good growers. Through good record keeping, you can know, hey, that mama produces really good milk.
And that's an investment of having that system.
Her calf is going to grow well. I can look back at previous records. Now, if I got a heifer that just had a calf, she's now a cow, I'm not going to know how she performs growing out a calf.
First time.
But through my record keeping, I can know, okay, she may need some extra groceries to get that baby to the right market size early enough. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. So what's your thought process when choosing cattle bees for your operation, or someone getting into cattle? What should be like, you know?
All right. So a mistake I made early was thinking, yeah, you got to always learn from your mistakes. The mistake I made early was quantity over quality. And any recommendation I would make to somebody who's getting into farming, okay, is to take it slow. It ain't worth just jumping all in right away. You'd be better off buying 5 quality cows that can raise you calves than 15 quantity cows that are not going to raise you quality calves. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. I definitely understand.
So with anything, you got to take it slow. You got to see what works. You got to start to feel out your market and make the best decision to make sure that you're not just like going all in and then you're like, oh crap, this is not, I got junk animals or something like that.
Okay, so this is the last question for business and operations.
So I don't really have specialty animals, but what I do have is a story. So I don't have Wagyu beef. But I do have a story, and I do have this idea of raising high quality animals on high quality forage, which gets me nutrient dense beef. What I mean by that is basically these cows are eating what they're supposed to be eating. They're not just getting fed grain and all this crazy. I'm really working hard to make sure that they can
working with the land.
Yeah, they can take care of their body and they can produce the best quality beef possible. Because guess what? If I've got Wagyu beef and I'm not raising them the right way, I'm not making high quality beef. I'm just making a name. And I want to make sure I'm raising high quality product that's going to be healthy for my end consumer, because a cow eating grass like that, look at her. I mean, she daggone munching on that thing, happy as a tick. If that cow's just sitting there waiting for grain to be fed every day, they're not living their best life and they're not getting all these deep nutrients.
They're not doing what they were made to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the bison and the buffalo, they were just grazing the whole time.
Mhm.
And the Native Americans were like realizing how high of quality that meat was. But when you look at something super dark green like that, that's full of nutrients and density of minerals and things like that. And when these cows are eating that, they're digesting it.
This up right here.
Yeah, this is cool. That's where they were. And then this is where they are now.
So how often does it take to?
I move these every day.
Mhm.
And for them to get back to this block here, this block was about 30 feet wide by how long we've just walked, I don't know, 250 feet or so.
Yeah.
It'll be 70 days before they're back to this piece of grass.
Yeah, because we're moving. Because
Yeah.
I already know we would be here.
When they're done here, they're moving to that next piece. And then they're gonna move over there. And I'm always moving my animals. And I like to do this 3-part thing. You graze a third, you leave a third, and you trample a third. You need like blades of grass to be like little solar panels to grow good. And if I can't grow good grass, then I'm not gonna be able to grow good cows. So I like to leave enough for the grass to be able to
not
recuperate.
overdo it.
I don't want to overgraze. I want them to have enough left over so that grass can grow back and be, again, nutrient dense like we're looking for.
How do you manage the cost like feed, equipment, and veterinarian care? I know you kind of answered that one already. And what are some of your biggest expenses in the cattle industry that you might not expect it going into it?
Oh gosh. So equipment can be tough unless you can find some used equipment. I mean, anytime you get into new equipment right now, it's going to be tough on you. So try and get into it used, or find a neighboring farmer that you can utilize their piece of equipment, and maybe you'll have like a cost share program. Some expenses that go into cattle farming. I mean, one of the most expensive things for us is the cow itself, right?
Yes.
I mean, a cow is expensive if you're getting new ones or whatever. I always like to try and raise up my own animals, but if you're getting into buying animals, that's going to get expensive. That fencing right there is not cheap. Now, my wife and I did all of our fencing. We actually had one student worker that we paid to come and work with us as well. Just a student that was at the farm. We have a good relationship, and I was like, hey dude, I'd love your help. He was excited to make some extra cash.
Yeah, I don't.
But we DIY'd everything.
Yeah,
we did it all ourselves. And then for veterinary stuff, you got to have a vet. If you think it's stressful raising cattle, wait till you get a sick cow that you don't know what to do. You need to have that vet to be able to call, because you'd hate to lose that $2,500 or whatever it is that you're getting out of your animals. That's some expenses to not take lightly, and make sure that you're doing the right way so that you're getting, again, your herd as healthy as possible and taken care of as best as possible. But then you have other expenses like, you know, woven wire or these stepping posts.
You're not processing cows. Like, I mean, you're not like
well,
you
okay.
don't gotta kind of worry about.
I pay my processor to do that.
And is it by the pound?
Yeah, they charge you by the pound, considered like what's like considered hanging weight. So once the head's been removed, the hide's been removed, all the internal organs, that hanging carcass is what they're going to charge you.
Okay.
And I pay a premium for mine because I want a premium product. So I use a company out of Walnut Cove called Mitchell's Meat Processing. They're awesome. And they do a really good job processing our beef, and our customers have repeatedly said that. So far to say that like their meat, because the way they process it and flash freeze it immediately, sometimes it lasts 18 months to 2 years. You know, you can go get that piece of hamburger or that pack of hamburger that's 2 years old, open it up, and it's not freezer burnt, things like that.
Not to cut you off, that you're getting your cow back? Is that a thing? Like some people?
So I use a small processor. Mitchell's Meat Processing is a small processor.
Yes, that's probably better.
They are USDA certified. They are going to, you know, the only cow they're processing at that moment is your cow, and then they're going to clean and bring in the next cow, so on and so forth, to make sure that you're getting just your animal and getting it processed as premium as possible. And that's why you pay a little bit more. I think I pay like 11 or 12 cents more per pound hanging weight than I would if I went to like a lower end processor. So in the grand scheme of things, if you're talking 700,
do it right, do it right,
700 pounds hanging weight, I'm only paying $80 or $100 more. but I'm getting a premium product
And your product.
in mine.
So-
Not saying that these others don't do that,
Yeah,
but,
but you
I just know that mine
And
is
he
that
got
way.
good business.
Yeah.
So do you usually price based on the market rates, or do you set your own price?
For my meat,
Yes.
my wife and I have done the numbers. I gotta fire this truck.
Form Life guy.
This piece, POS. It works.
Banana, aka Bumblebee. Check it out.
Don't steal my truck, dude. I charge based on what my wife and I have determined through our cost analysis, you know,
Okay.
our profit margins and things like that. Because we're not trying to get rich off of this, but we do have to have a profit in our business to
Mhm.
make sure that it's sustainable
Mhm.
and can be there for the long run for my
And
kids.
it can be
everything.
passed down.
And it can be passed down. But we, again, as I told you at the beginning of the coronavirus, we realized that our mission was to like provide a premium vegetables for a low cost. That's the same kind of standard we have with our beef. We are providing a premium product that is lower than a lot of farms, but still profitable and giving us.
And you're getting that demand as well.
Yeah, we're getting it. We're getting that demand, for sure.
So how much does weight, marbling, or breed type affect that final price for you guys, or is it still
Again, it's a story.
okay?
I can sell my story to people. They know what they're getting. They
Man,
know their
what?
farmer. They know that the product is being maintained and loved on and cared for well. As I was telling somebody today, the cows only got one bad moment on their life in my farm.
Mhm.
Okay, they only got one bad moment. That's that moment that,
You gotta go
that
through
it's
it.
over.
Yeah.
You know, but other than that, that cow lives a super happy life.
Great life.
They know they're getting good grass. They know they're getting maintained well. Fresh access to water, minerals, all the things they need to grow strong and healthy. So
Okay, so last question before we dive into the later on part 2. How do you decide when it's time to expand, invest, or cull part of your herd?
the market trends.
Okay.
You know, if I've got more demand on my beef, then it may be looking into increasing my herd size. But when you increase your herd size, you need to make sure you do it
You're increasing
at a way.
expenses as well.
Yeah, you're increasing your expenses. You need to make sure you've got enough space for them animals. And you got to make sure that when you do have an animal you need to cull, that you cull it. Because if an animal's sucking resources from you,
Yeah.
then those resources are taking money out of your pocket. So you got to know when to cull animals and when to say, okay, this cow's worth saving her calf, because if her genetics pass down, her calf's going to produce really good calves, and so on and so forth. So being strategic, taking your time, and just making sure that you're doing it in a way that makes the most sense for your operation. And as I told you earlier, it's like going slow is the best way to go, because if you just
Slow and steady.
if you dive head first and you're not ready, you're gonna drown.
How do you manage your pastures and grazing rotation throughout the year? And what's your approach to maintaining soil health and reducing input costs? I know we kind of dived into it earlier.
A lot of what we do is as much rotational grazing as possible. So sectioning off fields into like smaller paddocks. And essentially what that's allowing us to be able to do is like focus where the cows are at. It's going to focus where the cows are at rather than giving them like a huge portion of ground. We're just giving them a small piece of ground that makes them kind of compete over everything in that field. And that sounds kind of crazy, right? But if I only give them a small bit of grass, they all got to eat the same amount.
Yeah.
What they will do is they'll eat the weeds, they'll eat the good stuff, they'll eat everything, which in turn allows for me to not have to come through and like bush hog after they've come through
Yeah.
and graze.
Because I noticed some people, like when they have them just on one large piece of land, they have a lot of trampled spots, and some spots.
Oh yeah, they'll
like-
find their favorite thing and go to it over and over
Yeah.
and over again.
And I don't notice that here.
Whereas what we do is almost like I'm almost treating it like the buffalo and the bison, like I talked about earlier. When you think about how they graze, they just continually move. They didn't
'Cause we
stay
was over here about a week ago.
Yeah, they didn't stay in one spot. They kept moving. So basically what I'm doing is I'm putting up a piece of wire, I stop them, they graze it, I take up a piece of wire and put up a new one, they graze it, and just
So
continually.
can you do this same thing with sheep or goats?
Yeah, goats are harder to do because you got to think goats aren't necessarily like grazers, they're more browsers.
Mm-hmm.
But sheep, yes, you can definitely do that. The other advantage to it, not only for your soil impact and your like improvement of grasses, they're always away from where they've urinated or pooped,
and that's gonna
make your herd healthier as well, because they're no longer eating in the bathroom, if you will. I mean, you and I don't like to eat in the bathroom. They don't really want to eat in the bathroom either. Okay. So by moving them, we're constantly giving them fresh grass. The other advantage is getting ahead in the warmer seasons, because you talked about how you do this in different seasons. In the warmer season, it's keeping the flies from being constantly with them, because you know the flies need that manure to lay their eggs and hatch, and then more flies come. So, but if I'm keeping them away from the manure, then I'm having less fly pressure. So
for like a warmer climate like Florida, how would you approach that industry with cattle?
Really focused on your grasses. If you're in a warmer climate, you're going to need warmer grasses, warmer seasons of grasses, so that they grow better in those conditions. And that's like any business, you got to know what works for your business, and you got to know how to manage your business to work it well. So if you're in Florida or you're in the Midwest or you're in Maine, knowing your climate, know what grows best there, trying to have it as native as possible will allow for it to be as productive as possible.
Do you have multiple properties or additional land that supports your herd?
So basically how I operate.
And how many acres?
The farm we have that was, that we have from this church, which is crazy to say, is 200 acres.
So the church has 200 acres?
Yeah. And they let us basically have the management of that piece of property.
Like leasing it.
Yeah, I have a lease on it.
Okay.
But that piece of property is how we manage our herd, and we just rotate them throughout that property. Now, I don't have 200 acres in grass production.
Yeah.
But the property basically is made up of about 200 acres.
Okay.
It's actually 204 acres.
So for production, how much do you use?
About 34 acres.
Okay.
So,
and is this close to your house?
What?
The church plant?
Yeah, it's right through the woods.
Oh.
My house is like connected to.
And of course, you own your own land within your home as well. So you never bring them home.
What?
You never bring the cattle home.
No, they have access sometimes like right like the back of our house.
Any conservation or sustainability practice that you recommend someone adopting outside of grazing and things?
Is this gonna be too loud?
No, you got the mic.
Oh. Yeah, the way that we graze is regenerating the land. We're treating it like it's supposed to be. So this term regenerative is basically trying to restore it how it was.
How do you balance being a business owner and working here?
Well, here's the truth. My business is not to scale yet to be able to be my full-time thing for my wife. I don't want to do it full-time. My wife wants to do it full-time because she doesn't really like her day job a ton. I mean, it pays the bills, right?
And she'll rather put that full effort inside.
Exactly. But I mean, this is my priority. And when you think about what I went to school for, agriculture education, what I'm doing here is educating students.
And this is what you're passionate about.
Yeah. Not that I'm not passionate about my farm. I very much so am. But
this is what you studied for doing what we're doing basically right now, and what we're doing today.
Yeah, what I'm doing is, in the long term, is building a kind of a retirement plan, if you will, and then something for my kids. But being here at the university gives me the opportunity to try new things and then say, oh, this worked at the A&T farm. I can apply it to my own farm, and I can teach it to other farms as well.
So what skills or lessons from academia help you most in managing your cattle? So like
what skills have I learned
from academia that help you with your own business?
That's hard. That's a hard thing to answer because like education is important, but sometimes doing what you're doing, getting out here on the field and like learning in the book and then coming and like getting real life with it, that's so much more valuable. So I wouldn't say that my education wasn't important, but being out here at the farm has been the most important thing because again, I get to try things out here that I can hopefully be able to apply for our small scale growers, and then I'm a small scale grower as well, so that I can see what works.
Relaying information as
well.
Yeah. Okay. So how can today's ag students or somewhere out there that's not a student best prepare for entrepreneurship and running their own operation?
How can they best prepare for that?
So like give me a scenario. Say if I had $20,000, I wanted to go into the cattle industry.
Hop in the truck.
How will you approach that?
Hopefully I left the king here. Come on, baby. Crank up for us.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
You know, like say I got 10 grand, 15,000. I got some land that's paid off. I bought it in cash whole, and now I just need to reproduce on the land.
Okay.
What breed? Ang, you got? It's all right. I cut this out. Angus, like I know we're not dairy. We're straight beef. You know what I'm saying? So someone that's why I took the students off because everyone didn't go to school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for someone just wanted to dive in, they got some land. They've been grabbing equipment, fencing, and the basics, and they're getting ready to get into like what approach should they take? They go to stockyard. You know what I'm saying? Go to another farmer.
So okay, all right, cool. So if I was to be getting into this now, and I had 20 grand to kind of get started, I would, for one, look for some high quality genetics. I'd make as many connections as I could with local growers because I want to buy an animal that is from where I'm from. Meaning, I want an animal that's acclimated to the climate that I've been in, so that whenever it gets to my farm, wherever that is, it's kind of hitting the ground running.
Yeah.
And then something else I do is I'd go to, as a cattle farmer, I'd go to school, like an artificial insemination school, so I can learn how to breed.
Get that knowledge.
Learn how to breed my cattle, because keeping a bull, like raising a bull, can be kind of expensive.
Yeah.
You know,
they're not reproducing anything new.
You know, they breed my girls one time a year for 60 days, and then they're on their own.
Strategy around that bull, possibly borrowing.
Yeah, maybe borrow a bull. Again, having connections, finding local farmers that want to be of assistance, and so I'd buy me 5 good cows.
Yeah, how much are those running for? 5 good cows.
Good 5 good cows, you're going to pay $2,500 probably per animal. And then if I can get a good cow that I can then get a baby off of, then I start to build from there. But I told you earlier, and it's extremely important, we need to start slow, because I want to start with as quality of a product as I can, not necessarily just a quantity product. And if I can start small, then over time I can build up to where my higher quality.
So essentially, because you said 2,500, so I get 4 for 10,000. Don't really spend that full 20,000. I mean,
yes,
on all cows.
Yeah, because you're gonna need hay in the wintertime, especially if this is a new farm. Because you got to think, not everywhere you have a farm, you're gonna have all the ideal grasses.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask about the equipment with grasses and planting new grasses.
Yeah, that might be something like you bring in a local farmer, or you go to like your local extension office and be able to get some resources from them to hopefully be able to improve, you know, the area that you're going to be.
So winter, you got to get this hay.
You got to have hay. I really like to have about 5 to anywhere from 5 to 6 round bales per cow per winter is kind of a good idea.
Okay.
So that can kind of see me through, as long as I have good forage for them to be able to come back to.
So you think it's better to buy bales, like rolling bales, rather than square bales?
Yeah, round bales are way more cost effective. Now you gotta have a way to put them out.
Yeah, that's exactly.
But round bales, you get a lot more tonnage per dollar, and you know, as long as you have a way to be able to feed it, then you're going to do a lot better. But you can be creative with it. You could get a round bale delivered, and then you could just fork off the amount of hay you need per day for those animals, and then that's going to save you on that waste and save you on equipment and all these things that ultimately are going to influence your bottom dollar.
Okay, guys, we hopped out and we're getting into our last section, but John's going to give us a little education on grasses as well because we're checking the fields.
This field was grazed, and then this has always been like annuals, and annuals are good. Like annuals means I got to plant them over and over and over again. But I want to establish more perennial type grasses, because my perennial grasses,
when they grow back on their own,
they're going to come back year after year, and they're going to be able to improve my soil health and improve my herd health.
So for someone, you would prefer perennial grasses for a new person getting into grasses because they, you know, the planting the grass.
The long-term investment, perennial is the best way to go. But for quick green and quick forage, your your annual grasses will do,
but you will have to replant those.
But you're gonna have to replant them. So like a winter one, you're looking at like a rye or an oat or a wheat. And then like for your summer type grasses, Sudan grass, millets, you can graze soybeans. There's so many different things you can graze, right? But you have to just plant those things time and time again. If I can go ahead and make the improved higher investment of a perennial grass, then hopefully in time I'm not now forking out money every year for perennial or for annuals, because you got to have diesel fuel to plant them, and you got to be able to rely on the weather to be favorable for it to actually grow.
It rarely rains here, guys. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably the first time it rained in a very long time.
Yeah, we've been in a drought.
Yeah,
but so this field is been re-drilled. I mowed it really low and then I re-drilled it, so it's not like it's amazing, but again, you can see these grasses that I drilled starting to come in. So I got fescue in here, I've got, that's orchard grass, that's fescue, and then I got some clovers in here. You can see right there some clovers coming in. And this is a row that I've drilled.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
Okay, and you can just see where it comes in, but this, and you can see it in those rows as well. I can see it pretty well. But soil health is extremely important, and there's this thing, kind of this mentality, if you can't grow grass, you probably can't grow cows, because grass is what feeds cattle. And
that's what kind of threw me off. I'm looking, doing research, people having them just on one plot, how I was stating earlier, and it's like, are y'all spending a lot of money with hay? And that
you got to hay animals whenever you have them in one designated area, because again, they're going to find their favorite thing and they're going to go back to it.
So for you, well, though, that's going to come later in long term. But I was going to say, like on a commercial scale, you want to get more cows, more. When it comes to moving paddock to paddock, your strategy changes.
Well, you just need to make sure they've got access to shade, they've got access to water, and then they've got access to, ideal forage, or enough forage for them to continue to grow and raise their calf, and raise the calf that's inside of them.
How do you market your beef? Is it locally, online, or through partnerships? How do you guys advertise your beef and brand to reach new customers?
So
you're doing that right now.
Yeah, so I have, I got 2 social medias. I got Instagram that we post stuff on a good little bit. I've got a Facebook that's tied to that, and then we also have a website to be. What do you call it? Meta.
Yeah, that's what Facebook and Instagram, they tied. It's like
something
like that.
Well, then that's all I have. I have a Meta account.
And you have a website where people can go and buy.
Correct. They can go to, let's say, a chuck roast. Okay, they can click on my chuck roast menu. And then from there, they can choose the weights that I have available to be able to, order them.
Your wife stays on top of this website.
And then, it just sends us
notification
of what's been ordered. We pack it, and then people come. We don't ship anything. Everything's pick up.
That's probably a lot of expensive shipping.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't have that much quantity to be able to produce for shipping. So what we usually do is we'll just order it, or people will just order it and then we'll pack it, and then they can pick up one time per week. That's kind of how we do it. And then we have merch to be able to brand our stuff. I mean, when I wear this, And then somebody sees it, they see Kimes Family Farm, they see where we're at and when we're established. And that's, you know, simple enough branding to be able to market what we need. And then we just released a new one that says on the back, eat local beef, because that's like a huge movement, right? We're talking about the cost of beef prices. The beef prices are going up because of our packers, okay? And our
your Tysons and Cargill.
Yep, and we don't have the supply to meet our demand, so they can make the price wherever we want. But me as a local grower, you can know me, you can know how I handle my animals, you can know it's U.S. grown, and you can know that you're buying something that's worth supporting, rather than, oh, I'm buying beef from somewhere that was not raised the best or whatever. Not saying that countries that we're importing beef from. It's just anytime it gets larger and larger, the pocket keeps getting bigger and bigger, and they are looking at that. Whereas for me, I'm looking for definitely a profit, but I'm also looking out for my customer and making sure that they, if I don't have a good animal, remember, I ain't got no good money.
Are you currently looking to expand, and what long-term goals for your operation are you know?
Yeah, so I alluded to this earlier. My wife is looking to cut back her 9-to-5 job, if you will, hours, and hopefully take on more of the farm operations to be able to make it more of her sole income. So she's doing things like looking at how we can, put up more fencing, because the more fencing we have, more cattle we can put on there. And then also look at diversifying different streams of income. So she's a potter. How can she make certain types of pottery, whether that be cups or plates or just like decorative pieces that have our branding on it? So all the coffee mugs she makes has this branding on there. She's diversifying with that. We have sheep as well, okay? And with the sheep, we shear them once a year. What can I do with that wool? I can turn it into natural fertilizer for indoor plants.
So you guys have sheep?
Yeah, I've got a herd of 45 about 45 sheep.
Yeah, and that's bringing in another stream of income.
Another stream of income, but then being able to utilize the wool for certain things. Now, I'm not going to turn it into a sweater, but I could turn it into dryer balls. There's so many different things I could.
Someone that processes it.
I could do a lot of creative things with it to continue to diversify and expand my operation.
So you're not really considered getting vertically integrated?
What do you mean?
As far as producing, processing, distribution, and retail? Okay.
Nope. The only thing I'm looking to do is raise my animals and then be able to sell my beef. But I'm not processing my beef. I'm not processing my wool. When you start to get too many irons in the fire, you start to lose track of everything.
And forget the why that you started in the first place. How do you see the cattle industry changing in the next 5 to 10 years? And then we have one more question after that.
The cattle industry changing. I think as we start to continue to grow into like knowing where our food comes from, I think you'll start to see hopefully more small scale growers like myself or others, Bill Kirkman, Jason Poindexter, these guys that are my neighbors. They'll continue to improve their herds and improve their beef quality so that we can kind of be the local source for
beef, instead of just Walmart and these heavy businesses taking over.
Because
like you said, they can price it at anywhere they want. It reminds me of pistachios. It's the Resnicks, I believe that's their name, and they control 90% of the supply of pistachios worldwide.
Really?
So the black packets of pistachios you see in the store, all the time those are theirs. But think about it. Do you see any other pistachios besides that black pack? Because they control most of the supply for pistachios. So that's what I see that with the beef as well, as far as Tyson and Cargill, as I was stating, and them putting it in front of the majority so easily and can price it at anything. But people don't know it till they know, locally. You can buy beef locally. You can buy poultry locally. But you just got to know.
You got to know your farmer. You got to be willing to try new things. And then, like, for instance, for me, I'm not always going to have ribeyes or T-bones or filet mignon or whatever. I might have odd cuts, and when you think about it, a cow only produces 2 briskets.
Yeah.
A cow's only going to produce 24 to 28 ribeyes based on how thick you get them cut. So you're not always going to have everything available. So being able to market those things and being able to really explain the processes and excite people on your product, that's kind of where you're going to continue to thrive.
You got me excited. I want to try some beef.
Yeah.
So this is the last question. We kind of already went over it. What advice will you give a young agribusiness owner trying to build something for the ground up? This is the last question. We're in the video after this.
So if you are a young professional or wanting to get into agriculture, let's say in the cattle industry, the biggest thing I could tell you is to get to know the people around you and really start to learn the community, learn what works and what doesn't work, and just start slow, because ultimately if you jump in head first and you're not ready, it's going to get overwhelming. And when it gets overwhelming, it's going to affect your health, it's going to affect your mental state, it's going to affect your relationships. And when all those things falter, then your business is going to falter, because without the help of my wife or my friends or my church, like,
you would not be here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be as invested as I am in being able to keep on top of everything, because ultimately, like, we are a big happy family, and without that, you kind of start to lose sight of what the purpose of all this is for. So I mean, ultimately, like, that's what we're looking to do.
All right, guys, we're about to end it, man. It's raining, and Kynes Family Farm, I'm gonna put his website in the description, also your Facebook and Instagram. And you got anything to say?
Man, keep it up, and Zion, you're killing it, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you, man.